goal net out of the crease and waited patiently.
You know, when I was younger, I didn't have female athletes to look up to in women's ice hockey. And nowadays, they look up to the pros or the girls on the national team, but now they can look up to the college players. The girls program here at the Bisons, when I first started, they only had 3 teams. And this past year, we had 8.
Hey everyone, Jamie here. Welcome to Flame Bearers Unedited, a brand new series bringing to you largely unedited conversations. We heard you loud and clear. You want to hear more stories of more elite women athletes from around the world. So we're going to deliver. In Unedited, we're going to bring you completely unfiltered conversations. We hit start, we have our conversation, we hit end. What we're going to see, though, is slightly different because we're not going to have all the traditional bells and whistles that you're used to in Flame Bearers production. So let's jump in.
My name's Shelley Looney. I used to play women's ice hockey. Now I'm in the coaching world, but I started when I was 6 years old and continued to play all the way up to the national team. So I've had a great experience in that situation. It's a great sport that's given me so much.
And Shelley, I know you're being very humble. You played in Olympics. You came home with a bunch of medals. So for those who don't know your story, let's step up to the bragging pedestal for a little bit and share what they may not know.
Right. I played 13 years on the national team, went to 8 world championships, 1 gold and 7 silver, 2 Olympics, the first one in 1998 where women's ice hockey was introduced to that platform, and we came home with the gold. I happened to have scored the game-winning goal and then was able to go back 4 years later to Salt Lake City and came home with the silver.
So many follow-up questions for you. I actually went back and watched that game-winning goal. What was it like for you to play in the Olympics the first time women's ice hockey was introduced? Share what that was like and then talk about what it's like how it's evolved.
Right, and it's very interesting because, you know, it was a brand new platform for us. And I think what we tried to do is stay inside, you know, what we were in control of and just playing the game that we've loved. Obviously, the outside distractions were fun to be a part of. But at the same time, you know, we knew that we were making history. And, you know, our team that team's pretty special. We still stay together, you know, we talk all the time. And I just think that we all knew that we were there for one reason and one reason only, and we were doing it together. That will never be done before again. So that experience was, you can't take that away. I'll go with it to my grave. And, you know, everybody, like, the biggest question is like, what does it feel to win a gold medal? Well, you know, it's like your dream come true, you know, and not many people get to say that their dreams have come true. So in regards to like scoring in that game, I mean, I just wanted to do my job and I wanted to, you know, do the best of my ability for my teammates and for the country. And I was just lucky enough to be in the right spot in the right time.
So humble. And once again, it was an absolutely incredible goal. Catch us up to speed. Women's ice hockey's in a vastly different place now. From your vantage, how would you compare and contrast women's ice hockey today versus, you know, when you were on that first team?
You know, I would love to be a part of it now playing, but at the same time, I don't even know if I'd be good enough because the level of play is just increased, you know, 10 times over. And the athletes that they have out there these days. And it's a true testament to just women's sports in general across the country. But, you know, the speed, the agility, the strength, you know, it's all there. It's so much fun to watch. And, you know, just thinking about being a little bit a part of it when it first started.
So cool. I know you played at Northeastern. Share what the Beanpot is for those who don't know and what your experience was like.
You know, the Beanpot started back in the 70s, early 70s, I think. You know, it's the top 4 teams in Boston. They compete every year for the Beanpot, which I think that's a great testimony to just hockey in general in that area. You know, I remember playing it back when I was in college many years ago. You know, it was still just evolving. You know, women's ice hockey and college hockey in the early 90s was still evolving. So BCBU were not what they are today. It's so wonderful to see the competition that has grown, friendly competition has grown amongst, you know, those top 4 teams in the Boston area. So it was an amazing event when I first took a chance to play with it. But the best thing is now, I mean, I mean, last year was amazing, to come down to the Garden and to have over 10,000 fans, be a part of that. And obviously my alma mater was there and they happened to win. So, I'm always a big fan of Northeastern.
So cool. So what are your hopes for this year? Obviously, besides who wins,
Right.
but just from a women's sports perspective, this is going to go live on Wednesday. The Beanpot will have already happened. But what are you hoping that, Wednesday morning people wake up and we're like, hey, that was a massive success?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be a big task because, they made it a pretty big last year, but they've been putting all the effort and energy into make sure everybody knows about it. And, the two greatest teams right now in our area all four are going to be playing. So you get to see them no matter what. But I want the next day to come back and to say that we're still here to support women's ice hockey and show that what that sport can do at that level. So, and obviously fans are great. They were there last year and we hope to see them again this year. And so I expect Boston to do great things.
Yes, I am right there with you. Shelley, for those who are not in the Boston area who want to be supportive of women's ice hockey, what can we do? What can people do? I'm a Bostonian, but for those who are listening who are not from this area but love everything you're saying and want to be supportive.
Yeah, I think that, with the pro league now, and they definitely are getting out there across the country to show that kind of level. But, those kids come from college hockey. That's where it starts to grow and it continues to grow. And, supporting college hockey will then again push the level of play for pros. But, I think back, when I was younger, I didn't have female athletes to look up to in women's ice hockey. And nowadays, they look up to the pros or the girls on the national team, but now they can look up to the college players. And, I was at the game last week and to see all the little girls in the stands and support of the school. We didn't have that, and so it's amazing and wonderful feeling for them to have that opportunity.
Okay, so I gotta ask, who were your sports role models then? Because a lot of what we try to do is to elevate incredible women like yourself and other women from around the world, because we believe if you can see it, if you can hear it, you can be it. Right. So who did you look up to when you were a young athlete?
Out of Michigan, I grew up in Michigan. So there was a woman, Lisa Brown, her name's Lisa Brown Miller now, but so she would come back and play and practice with us when I was in high school, and she was at Princeton University playing. And so when she would come back, I'd be like, she's so amazing. Like, I was in awe, and I just wanted to be like, I hope I get to be, that good and be able to play in college hockey someday. So I did have someone to look up to in that sense, and it just happened in 1998. We were actually teammates and line mates in the Olympics.
Oh.
So kind of came full circle. So that was pretty neat.
Did you ever get a chance to tell her that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's so cool. Yeah. You also mentioned something that I want to dive into a little bit more of is the pipeline. So you were talking about how colleges are now a place, the birthing ground or the fostering ground of this talent that continues on. And I think the Beanpot is a perfect regional example of, the best of the best from the Boston area. Talk to us a little bit about that talent pipeline in terms of how it's supporting women and girls today.
The best thing is to see is continuing growth in the college level, both at Division I and Division III, as well as ACHA teams. I'm in youth sports still. That's what I do. I still coach in youth sports. So for me to explain to the girls that if you want to continue to play, there is a place for you. You just have to find the right fit. And not everybody's going to be at Division I, but you still love the sport and you want to play for your school. And there's areas to do that. And I think people need to open up their mind and realize that, you're going to get a great experience out of something that you enter into. So I think there's a lot of opportunities in that college realm from one extreme to the other. And then going down to youth, it's just continuing to grow and gain grounds. So.
Yeah, it's so cool, and that's such a helpful differentiation point that if you want to do this, there's a place for you.
Right. Yeah.
And I imagine that that's a little different than it was for you growing up.
Absolutely. But I mean, that's the best part about it. You just to see the growth and the opportunities that girls can strive for, and hopefully obtain their goals. So.
And you're obviously being a huge part of that. I know you're continuing to coach, so catch us up to speed. You're an incredible player, athlete, competitor yourself, and now you're continuing to give back from the other side. So
Sure.
what are you up to?
So, I mean, I've done, I think, about every level you can coach. I've done youth, little 8-year-olds, 6-year-olds, just beginning, up to the national team. I would coach for the Buffalo Buttes. I have to say that I always joke that I never had to get a real job yet because I just been passionate about, being able to give back to the sport. And it's been able to, I've been able to make a career out of it, which is, something not everybody's able to do. Some people are like, I wish I could do what you do instead of go to real work. Like you just, but the best thing is just when I see girls that I've coached in the past and they come up to me and, they're successful in life and they thank me for what they've done in the past and what I've, helped contribute to them, which is just a testimony to like them as human beings. So I'm just a small part of it. So.
Shelley, do you have any specific coaching memories or things that you're working on right now that you could share with us?
I mean, it depends on which level you're going to be coaching at. I think there are certain levels you should focus on certain different things. And I guess across the board that's a big thing because just because it's a sport and a team, in the real world and when you're going to, work and there's other team, it's another team. So there's so many, I think, life lessons you can learn from playing sport. It's not just you, it's the whole group. And, you're a factor that builds the product. And, I think the girls really buy into that. So.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We have a ton of athletes at all phases of their career in our community. Mm-hmm. We've worked with about 275 different current Olympians and Paralympians. We've worked with retired athletes who are now coaches. We're working with aspiring Olympians and Paralympians, national team members. What advice would you give to people who are beginning to think about retiring from their professional sport?
Yeah.
And who are probably thinking about, I don't know what's next.
I think, that's one area that I feel that I wish I had some guidance back in the day. I think I ended my career in 2005. In that process, I wasn't really paying attention. I was just focusing in, just the one thing about, being an athlete. So I think that it's really important to like broaden your horizons and kind of like just maybe dibble and dabble on certain different things that you might be interested in so you have an idea of maybe a path that you want to obtain after being an athlete. But it's very different. You're structured as an athlete. You got your time management, you got to go to the gym, you got to work out, you got to eat right. And then all of a sudden you're not that athlete, So I think that for me, I had to find a different reason to work out instead of, because I felt like when I worked out as an athlete, I was doing it for my teammates and myself, but I was doing it for someone else as well.
Yeah.
And then, maybe individual sport, it might be a little different, but as a team sport, I was just like, okay, so now I have to work out differently and I have to have a reason for it. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. What, if you don't mind me asking, what is your reason for working out now?
Well, I think just, to be healthy as a person, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I before I was never a runner and then, I started running after, playing but at the same time, your body takes a beating. I'm not young anymore, so nice long walks are good.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. You're spot on in terms of like a lot of people don't have guidance in this space, and it's something that a lot of athletes are struggling with and looking for support in. So yes. I think that is really advice well taken. Yeah. Shelley, so you've mentioned that you're coaching. Tell us about your current job right now.
I work at North American Hockey Academy. It's NAHA. It's out of Braintree, Mass. Full circle. I'll disclose it. So Tony Nagano is the owner and director. Well, back in 07, 08, I coached her when she was 12, 13.
Oh, that is so cool.
Right. So, I went from college back to youth. I really feel that I have an impact on the youth world with what I can offer to them. So we got connected this past summer, and now I work there. I work with the U16s and, trying to get them prepared for the next level. But, it's really a great honor to work with someone that actually, used to coach and see what she's done with her life and be a part of it now. So.
Oh, that is so cool. We have two kind of final questions that we like to wrap up on. The first is, what advice would you give to your younger self? So given where you are now, sure. Given all that you've learned, what do you wish that younger Shelley knew?
And some of my former players will know what I'm talking about, but enjoy the journey. Like, that was a big thing for me. Like, I wish I enjoyed more situations that I went through. instead of being more maybe stressed out or, worry about the next step. Like instead of just like being in the moment and being present, being thankful, you know what I mean? So if I knew now, when I started off, I would enjoy like more opportunities in the sense of being present and every opportunity. So
I feel like that's so easy to say in hindsight, but it's so challenging in the moment to do.
I mean, even like tomorrow, like I should be present today, and be thankful that I'm talking to you right now and, what maybe I can give back. And so I just, there's a couple situations I remember, as a player and I took for granted just being there instead of, just being grateful. So
the last question that we like to ask is, what one action do you want people to take after hearing your story? So it could be go to more hockey games. It could be read this book. It could be call your friend.
Yeah.
What is the one thing in the entire world that you want people to do after hearing your journey?
One thing is just to take a deep breath, see what you've done and be proud of who you are today. I think a lot of females, athletes, or just females in general, don't have that self-confidence that we see the lack of, and I see it in the youth, all the time, and just be proud of who you are and continue to grow.
Thanks for tuning in to Flame Bearers Unedited. If you like what you're hearing, please leave us a positive review on your favorite podcasting platform or YouTube. If you want to see more behind the scenes coverage, follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X, whatever platform you're on, we're there too. Thanks, and we'll catch you on our next episode.